Oh, on my end, Mark Cuban says don't invest in esports.
Hold on.
Yeah, but how old is his ass?
What?
Just saying.
Hold on. When did he say this? Yeah, he has investments.
I'm just saying what what the streets are saying. They said Mark Cuban was like, look, man, when it comes to esports, don't waste your money. It's an awful investment.
I mean, he's a billionaire, so he can say whatever he wants.
He does own a team, right? Himself, so he probably should know.
That like probably made them cry. He's like saying that shit, and they're like, "Well, thanks, damn." You know?
Right?
They might be bad.
I mean, it's pretty big news. So a lot of gamers are like, "Yo, what's the outrage?" Because it's such a big business here in
currently until it hits some kind of peak. It's not there yet, but right now it's kind of like you have these one dudes who maybe stream on Twitch, whatever they might have, 200,000 followers or whatever, and they're like making bank. But that's only because there are a lot of people that are streaming, but very few people have made it to that threshold. So it's kind of like there's gonna be a point where the people that have been doing it for a long time, they have it good, but for anyone else to get into it is going to be like near impossible. It's going to get there eventually. And it's a catch-22. I just want to say, like, it's a catch-22 with games becoming sports because, and this is just, it sounds like a petty thing, but so I was watching Twitch last night. I was playing Smash a little bit with a buddy who was streaming, and I switched over to not the Capcom Cup, but the some fighting tournament that's going on right now. I don't even remember what the name is. And I sat there for 30 minutes and watched, waiting for them to get to the point where they play. And it's just the two guys at the really nice desk with the suits, just like Sports Center.
Just talking.
Just bullshitting. And I'm like, dude, can you play this motherfucking game right now? Like
it's crazy.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you make things sports. And when it becomes that culture. And I'm not saying that somebody doesn't want to hear them talk, but like the whole chat was flying by and a bunch of people are like, so when are they going to game?
What were they talking about?
So
just like, well, I use this strap, man, and then and I'm with this company that, of course,
they weren't talking about gaming.
No, not really. Like
at least talk about some gaming news or something.
No, they were like talking about gaming. You know what I mean? Like just BS, and it was like the shit in the schoolyard where it's like, well, man, I know this combo you don't know. It was like that kind of shit.
And like being a gaming announcer is like it's like a thing now. A lot of people strive to be announcers, so it's like their time to shine since they don't play the game.
Which is cool, but I don't. This might sound controversial, but I don't think it should be modeled after the same way sports are. I think esports should be its own thing entirely. Like in other words, it's gaming and you're competing and people win and people lose, but it should not be framed in the same way that ESPN is framed because I think a lot of people are tired of that. And it feels kind of old. The way the format,
true.
The suits, the desk, it just feels like old school.
I don't associate it with gaming and ESPN. Like I'm not going to ESPN for gaming, not even if that's related or not, but it just seems like it doesn't fit. Yeah. Like it just seems like there needs to be something separate.
So when I saw that article, it got me thinking like, what does a Mark Cuban know about esports, right? But then when you start thinking about it, he does own a team, a sports team, a more traditional type of team. And on top of that, he actually owns an esports team as well. So his argument was that basically the games that we play, the developers have so much control over your characters. So you can pretty much be playing a game and have a strategy, and then out of nowhere, a new update, and your whole player has changed. Just imagine playing a game with like a LeBron type character, and then people start saying that he's overpowered, and now now LeBron is me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but NBA teams change every year.
Yeah,
football teams change.
Call of Duty was putting out them updates like every week.
I like that though. I mean, unless you know if the person's good, instead of just being good with one person, is he good at the game?
So then the problem that was raised from Mark Cuban is that in order to keep up with these games, it's relentless. You have to spend maybe 10 hours a day just to keep up with the esports game, and this causes burnout.
So his argument is the time invested.
It's too much, and these guys are not getting paid, especially if you're streaming and these other platforms. You don't see the type of revenues that's worth 10 hours worth of streaming. You're pretty much giving your life to the game, and these developers, they have too much control over the sport.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying is like I feel like they're trying to like just kind of fit it in the slot with sports as if it's right next to baseball and basketball, and I'm like it's not. Yeah. They're still athletes. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge gamer. I think gaming is very important for a lot of things. Reflexes, for working your mind, all that. But it's not the same thing as getting on the court or getting on the field. It's just not. So I feel like it shouldn't be treated the same way.
Because you can get an injury, an actual injury, but that's not from an update.
Right.
You might just injure yourself.
So there's a lot of uncertainty about that. And then something like I think Mark Cuban actually created a facility. So investing big money into esports, he's saying it doesn't make sense in America now. Maybe other countries like Asia, they have a lot of things going on, but as America, it's not really as popular. It may seem like it's really popular here, but honestly, a lot of those views that a lot of these streamers will get, I think a lot of it is overseas.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I stream usually, I stream like twice a week, and it's usually like midnight or later. And almost everyone that I talk to, maybe a couple people are night owls, but most of them are somewhere else, and it's like 4 PM.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know? So, I just feel like the way esports are handled needs to be very careful because, like, okay, so I watched earlier this year, the beginning of the year, the Game of the Year awards on Twitch. That was kind of painful to watch. Not because, I mean, it's great that they're talking about games. It's great that people are getting awarded for their hard work. The God of War team killed it, obviously. God of War is great.
Yeah.
But, like, the way the show was done made it feel like...
Emmys?
Yeah, it was like, God, I'm watching, like, one of these shows. Like, shows that I don't normally watch, only now there's gaming in it.
You're trying to force a culture of something into something else.
Right, because they want to make money.
Because gaming culture, like, they're not turning on the damn Oscars.
No, they're busy gaming, literally.
Busy
gaming. With maybe a screen over here playing something else. But
exactly.
Like,
I do that all the time.
Yep.
I swear to God. Anyway.
So I just feel like it needs to be handled delicately. I think if it's not handled by existing gamers, and I'm not just talking about one guy that's really good at this one game. I'm talking about like gamers that play everything, gamers like us.
Yeah.
Like if it's not handled by people like us, I feel like it's going to end up being something that feels cheap.
Yeah.
And,
you know?
And I feel like and I'm not sure if a lot of people caught that, but I feel like Cuban was kind of speaking more so in an investor standpoint.
Right.
As an investor, it doesn't make sense to invest in esports right now because it's still developing and it's still new.
Yeah.
You got a lot of these guys who throw a bunch of money into esports thinking that the money will just automatically come. And
the framework isn't
struggling.
there. Like not yet.
Teams are struggling right now. You have a lot of teams that are dismantling
and this is
or
also
combining.
brand new, so we don't have the data to say, oh, you know, this is going to be
right.
successful.
There's no track record.
Yeah.
Right.
All we have is like tournaments in the 90s. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
And the way they're structuring esports right now, they're making it feel like it's ESPN. And I'm not sure if the casual gamers or the average gamers are going to appreciate that.
No.
They will have to change the formula in order.
Yeah, like,
right, because as I was almost gonna say a former nerd, as a total fucking nerd in school, like the jock mentality was not. It wasn't that I wasn't trying to fuck with them. It's that I didn't feel accepted by that. But now jock and nerd are like
it's like the same thing,
right?
Yeah.
So them sort of taking video games and turning that into something that feels very jockish. There's nothing wrong with that. But to the people that felt like I did, to the kids getting beat up for being into video games, for liking dorky things, for liking nerdy stuff, I'm like, I don't want any part of that. Like that's my initial reaction. I'm not saying I won't get into it, I won't give it a try, but my initial reaction is like, those are not my people. You know what I mean?
Time and place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's different now too. I mean, so many people, kids, 2 years old, are playing Minecraft on tablets and shit. So it's
it's a different space.
It's gonna be different.
It's gonna be different. That's true.
So I definitely want to give a heads up. As far as we've been concerned, I've been looking into more esports, but that was something that was really interesting to me because it's like everybody keeps saying esports is growing, but now we have somebody who is a multi-billionaire. A lot of people respect, I believe if Mark Cuban said he had black friends, I would actually believe him. You know what I'm saying? So I think he is for the culture. But just hearing him say that's a bad move makes you think a little bit deeper into what's going on in the space.
I mean, should it?
I think so. I mean,
on one hand, he's old, right? So he's like quote unquote out of touch. It doesn't mean he's out of touch, but there's a level. If you're over 50, you are not thinking about games the same way people in their 20s are.
I don't think we should rely everything on Mark Cuban. I mean, he has.
About Mark, is he in it for the money or is he in it for the culture?
The biggest shark in the tank.
Is he the biggest?
Gary Vee says you should invest. And we listen to Gary Vee a lot.
I do listen to the
Gary Vee is making some waves.
But does Gary Vee have an esports team?
Gary Vee's not investing.
Gary Vee knows how to market. Mm-hmm. He knows how to place people to market yourself.
But he ain't got no esports team.
That's true. Both of them, I don't think, are really qualified to speak on video games.
I think it's either.
I
feel the same one.
It's either got to be someone who literally develops. Like, I want to hear Miyamoto step up, come up and like say something. Because even though he's old, he's literally like he's generated the content that has made our entire lives.
I'm about to say, and he has a history of connecting with the actual gamers themselves. You know,
and I feel like people in the industry are usually kind of like these nerds that are into programming or they're into the behind the scene work, and they're not the people up front that are talking. And the people up front that are talking are the ones that are in the money or in the business of it. And I'm like, they don't necessarily know how it is or what it's like to make these games or the deadlines that these people have or like the teams that made a lot of the best games of all time were made by a team of like less than 20 people or less than 10 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and now it's like, it's a whole different world, but anyway, I could go on.
Oh, that's very good.
Good.
But no,
that was a good one.
it'd be nice to see somebody... It'd be nice to see somebody who also has money that is also a gamer talk about games.
Yes, that is true.
Who is that though? Who's that?
I don't know. Gotta be Randy. I don't know.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves might be able to do it.
Rick Fox, I get.
No,
Rick Fox got
he got kicked out. Yeah, he got kicked out of his team.
Rick Fox got kicked out.
Controversy.
But I mean, he's an investor that also plays. So
yeah, but he just got kicked out.
What about Drake? Don't he got a team?
Or like T-Pain. T-Pain is a big gamer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
I would have never
big
known.
gamer. And like
a lot of guys are.
Like he's on Twitch and everything, and I feel like I never hear him talking about it.
It's expensive. It's expensive to take care of teams. You got to understand the market. Like, how do you make money off of esports? You got to send these guys to tournaments. You got to create facilities. These guys can practice, so on and so on. So.
Right, and just the cost of like, I mean, as dumb as it sounds, like you only got to buy a couple footballs, right? Like it's not gonna upgrade. You got a football, you good.
Yeah.
Right. But like every month, you got to update all the systems. You got to make sure everyone's on point. You got to make sure everybody understands every single thing that was changed. All that.
Maybe that's what he's talking about too.
You build a team. You build a team based off of strategy, but then some developer will come back, nerf the strategy, and now you're sitting on. Losing the tournament that was supposed to pay back your investment and so on and so on. Yeah. So
I just read an article about how, and I agree with this, I don't think any character should be nerfed. I think everybody else should just be buffed to match that.
Pretty much.
Like I agree
fuck
with that
nerfing.
Too. If you get really good at the first version of a fighting game and then Super Turbo whatever comes out and then that person sucks after that or they lose a move, like what did I just pay for? Like no, everybody else should come up and meet Zelda or meet Hero, you know what I mean? Like, because Hero's unbalanced as fuck, but that's okay with me. I just want everyone else to meet him. I don't want him to go down.
And that sucks as a player who's been playing with a character, and then they nerf your move, and it's like, man, I've been killing with that move.
Yeah.
Why did you nerf it? Now I have to change my whole strategy up, so on and so on.
That's under the illusion that. That's under the illusion that any game is truly, truly balanced, which I don't really believe that. I think some are more than others, but I don't think any game is like perfectly balanced.
If I was watching basketball and everybody was LeBron James, I couldn't enjoy basketball.
Right, then it wouldn't be basketball.
It wouldn't be basketball.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then again,
can't all be LeBron.
Then again, we'll probably be kind of lit though.
Right, it'd be NBA Jam like in real life. Yeah.
We gotta think about that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we can close out this joint. You think you're ready to close out?
Where you gonna be next? What social media?
So, so I am on Instagram and on Eventbrite. Those are the two main things I use. It's Game Master Herb. It's one word. I have a new Wednesday thing that just started last week. It's gonna be every Wednesday at Spinning Pie. Every Monday, Controllerize at Monday Night Garage. In November, I have a couple breweries and a couple other bars coming up. In December, I'm doing like a festival thing. I'm doing this anime night next week or next month at this place called Brush in Decatur.
I've heard of Brush.
Yeah, like people have been hitting me up, and I've just kind of like shot out different things to different bars and venues. Like, hey, if you want an arcade, let me know. And it's amazing who's interested in it. Like all kinds of parties, all kinds of people, And as long as people have a place to game and everyone's getting along and understanding each other and putting everything aside and just gaming, I'm happy. Like, that's it.
Just leave the bullshit out the door.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. When you're next to someone with a controller, it doesn't matter who they are. You just game. That's it,
All right, bet. Nice. What's our social media?
All right, welcome to the Wall Podcast, IG, Facebook, Twitter, WTT Podcast on PS4.
Slide in DMs.
So,
yeah, they are very prompt about their DMs. Yes.
We try to be.
So, yes, we try to keep it tight. I didn't mean it that way.
There she
I didn't mean it that way. Y'all just dirty. All right, go ahead. Who else social media? Who else got social media? I don't know.
Follow me at TheSirJango at IG.
I don't need them.
Yeah. Welcome to the Walk.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. Give one.